What's up everybody? Welcome to the Communication Couch. Let me get right to the point. Today we will be talking about money. Now I know that this is not directly connected to the topic of this show, although no one knows what the topic of this show really is, but I find that it's an incredibly important topic that concerns everyone, and especially young adults who started working recently and started making their own money. Please note that I am not a finance expert, but in this video I'd like to share some of money managing strategies that have worked for me as a 26-year-old who has only started working a couple of years ago. In addition, I think it is important that we go over some stuff that is particularly relevant to the current time, year 2020 and 2021. Brace yourselves, God knows what is coming. So make sure to watch the video until the end, because I'll also tell you how much money I currently make from YouTube. Welcome to the Communication Couch. Or did I already say that? You can say whatever you want about money. That you love it, that you hate it, that it doesn't make you happy, but it is an important aspect of everyone's life. Unless you live in a hut in the woods, cultivating pumpkins and pooping in the river. You need money, simply to stay alive. So whether you like it or not, you have to deal with money. You have to earn it and manage it. Now, some approach money with aspirations to get more of it and get rich, while some just make sure to get by, meet their needs, and maybe afford something nice here and there. However, the thing people mostly associate when talking about money is making money, but there is much more to financial wealth than just making money. In fact, there are 4 things you can do with money. Earning is one, apparently spending is the second one, then you can save money, and you can also invest money. And in order to maximize the money you have and that you earn, you have to play with these 4 options. Find the best balance between them, and this, in my opinion, is the greatest trick. So let's cover these 4 and see what which one really means. Earning money means providing some value to someone in exchange for money. Now, in most cases, this means working, which means you're performing some tasks that you can do because you have those skills, or selling something for money. This is active income. It means that you have to do something, or with some jobs just basically be there, and as long as you're doing it, you're getting paid. On the other side, there is also passive income, which means that you do something once and then you keep getting money for it, although you're not actively doing it anymore. An example of this is writing a book or making video courses. You spend quite a lot of time working on it, you publish it, and then people buy it every once in a while, which brings you money even though you're not actively working on it anymore. And this brings us to spending. Of course, most people don't love money, they love spending money. It sure feels damn good. And unfortunately, it's so much easier to spend it than to make it. The problem is, no matter how much money you make, there are always ways to spend it. This is why a lot of athletes and celebrities and even lottery winners actually go bankrupt. They make a lot of money, think they're set for life, spend like crazy with no proper money management, and then discover that they're not set for life anymore. So, in my opinion, how you manage your spending is even more important than how much money you make. When I last switched jobs, I started making double the amount of money than I was earning at the previous job. So in the first few months, I was spending 30 euros here, 20 there, 100 on this, 200 on that, and then at the end of the month, I would discover that I spent everything I earned, not even knowing what I spent the money on. That's why I started tracking my expenses. This is something I learned from my great friend Philip Hofmann. I have a spreadsheet on my computer and a note on my phone. So when I pay my rent and business expenses at the beginning of the month, I put everything into the spreadsheet. Then when I spend money throughout the month, I write everything down in that note on my phone. no matter if it's €1 or €100. I put it into that note. Then at the beginning of the next month, I enter all of that into my spreadsheet. This way I have an overview of how much money I spent, what I spent it on, and I can see how much money remained so I can make budgets for the next month. So as I said, I'm not an expert, but if you will take one thing from this video, I would recommend you to do this as well. Track your expenses. It will give you a feeling of control over your finances and in extension also a feeling of more control over your life. Seriously, it really feels like that. And another thing that is just as important, or even more important, is to whack that like button and subscribe to this channel and click that bell icon as well. This really motivates me to keep giving my best and making these videos. Thank you, my brothers and sisters. So, great success. You didn't spend all the money. Congratulations. So, what do you do with that remaining money? Well, saving is one thing. You might be saving for something particular or just generally for the future. You never know when you might need it. But you should always have at least 2 months worth of living expenses in savings. 2020 is the proof that you never know what can happen and you always want to have that cushion. When you have that, trust me, you will sleep so much better knowing that if push comes to shove, you have a backup. But this is where our time differs greatly from the time our parents and grandparents lived in. A couple generations before, saving money was the thing because you could put the money in the bank and get interest rates. In other words, the banks would pay you to hold your money in their bank for 10, 20, 30 years. So after that time, not only would you have saved the money, but you would have also increased it. However, today in 2020 and 2021, the interest rates are historically low, so you can't really grow your money that way anymore. But you could think, well, okay, I won't grow the money, but I can still keep it in the bank for all those years, and I will have that money for a long period of time. Well, wrong. What also happens is inflation. Throughout time, money loses value. Well, it's not that money loses value, but everything else gets more expensive. So with time, you can buy less stuff for the same amount of money. The inflation rate is usually about 1 to 2% a year, which doesn't sound like much, but when you have a lot of money and count through a long period of time, it amounts to quite a lot. For instance, if you held 50,000 euros for 20 years, you would lose 20,000 euros on inflation. And this is why people invest. This is why people buy real estate, for instance. If you have 100,000 euros, you would keep losing money by keeping it in the bank. But if you buy an apartment with that money and rent it out, you will keep getting money every month at that latest value, and that apartment will probably even gain value, so after some time you can sell it and make even more money. So having real estate and renting it out is also a great way of achieving passive income. Just the problem is you either must have the money first or you have to take out a loan, which brings certain risks with it. But there are also other investment opportunities. You can invest in stocks, commodities like gold, or in virtual currencies like Bitcoin. This way you can invest little amounts of money and keep adding to your portfolio every month as you make more money. Of course, you still risk losing money, but you don't get yourself into debt, and if you invest only what you can live without, you won't bring yourself in existential danger. But I warn you, investing has risks. You're not guaranteed to make money. You can even lose money. Now the big question is, how much money should you spend? How much should you save? How much should you invest if you want to invest in the first place? And so on. On the internet, you will often find something called the 50-30-20 rule, which states that you should spend 50% of your monthly income on your costs like rent, food, and insurance, 30% on your wants, so on fun, going out, clothes, whatever floats your boat, and that 20% you should save. Now, I think this logic is fine, but my personal recommendation would be to always look how you can reduce your costs even lower, especially as a young adult while you don't have your own family and children, so that more money is left for other stuff. Also, I wouldn't go for 30-20 in favor of wants over savings, but at least for 25-25. But those are my preferences, and you have to adapt that to your own situation and your own income. However, regardless of specific amounts you dedicate to each, I think there are certain fundamentals of managing your money that you should always stick to. It's very simple. Don't spend more than you make. Make budgets. In other words, plan ahead on how much money you want to spend on each area of your life. Track your expenses. Put money aside every month and act as if it doesn't exist. And finally, always have at least 2 months of living expenses worth in savings. You don't have to strive to be rich, but you have the responsibility towards yourself to take good care of yourself and your well-being. And a big part of that is taking care of your finances. You have to deal with money. For many people, that is very stressful and it's a source of worries. But if you approach it consciously, if you are aware of your spending habits, your saving, it doesn't have to be stressful at all. And you will live a much more pleasant life. And as for how much money I make from YouTube, I don't make anything. You can't make money with 50 views a video. That was just to make sure you watched the video. Well, I'm sorry, but apparently it worked. Thank you for watching this video, and let's have a little poll. What are your habits? Do you just spend spontaneously, or do you make budgets and track your spending? Write it down in the comments below, so maybe we'll have some interesting discussions, and it will also help me with the YouTube algorithm. Thank you. Thank you for your time, and have a great day.